only round one, and there is no shortage of drama in these NBA playoffs. Good morning, everybody. We're going to get you all caught up. Welcome to Undisputed. I'm Jen Hale. That's Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. Hi, guys. How are we?
Good morning. Good morning.
Here come the Suns. Last night, Mr. Sharpe, was why I picked the Suns to win it all.
If they took everything they had. There ain't no way you feel as confident going into this series as you right now because they got one game. They went to Phoenix and they did what they wanted.
Last night was a tour de force. It's why the Suns are going to take over this series.
Okay. All I know is Kawhi still look like the best player on the court.
Yeah, did he really?
Yeah, Kawhi.
I thought there were 4 players on the other team better than he was.
I ain't going that far. I ain't going that far. It's going to be a good series.
I tell you what, all this talk about Kevin Durant, guys, and we forgot there's this guy named Devin Booker who's pretty darn good as well.
Yeah.
And this guy named
All
Chris
right,
Paul.
let's start this morning, though, with the controversy in that Kings-Warriors game. Draymond Green, he's now received a 1-game suspension for stomping on Domantas Sabonis. That means he's going to miss the Warriors' pivotal Game 3 at home against the Kings. The NBA said in a statement, quote, "The suspension was based in part on Green's history of unsportsmanlike acts." All right, Shannon, on a scale of 1 to 10, how surprised are you that Draymond did indeed get the suspension?
Probably a 4, a 5. I thought Skip, we talked about it, he might get suspended, but I said, but they did give Sabonis a flagrant.
They did.
So they might say that, since you initiated, you instigated it and caused Draymond to do this. But when you read that, they said history, priors matter.
Yep.
In sentencing, when you do a run afoul with the law, priors matter.
Yep.
Have you done something like this before? Have you been in trouble with the law before? Skip, he just did this last year with Memphis. I don't understand why when Draymond gets ejected from the game, why he just can't lead the court in a timely manner.
That's the question. There you go.
Why must he be Hulk Hogan at WWE?
There you go. There you go, standing up on his chair.
And then he's yelling female body parts. Come on, Draymond.
I got it.
Skip, you would like to think a wise man learns from other mistakes.
Yeah.
A fool will learn from his own. How many times must Draymond be a fool? Now, in 2016, he said many believed that he cost his team a championship by getting suspended Game 5. He said, I've learned my lesson. It clearly shows he has not learned a lesson. What? Skip, and I get he's like, when the guy was grabbing my foot. Normally, as a football player, Skip, if I'm going in one direction, a guy grabs my foot, I'm jerking it. When I put it down, it's going to go this way. Mm-hmm. He raises his foot, stomps in the guy's chest, and then pretends like, oh, this is what I had to do.
Okay.
Come on, Draymond. Why do you keep putting yourself in this situation? Yeah. I believe this was the final straw. Now, maybe it was already. Maybe Draymond, the writing was on the wall, Skip, before he ever hauled back and threw that punch at Poole. Maybe the writing was on the wall, but I think this was the final straw. Because, Skip, they say production intolerance?
Yes.
I'll tolerate a lot if you produce. Where's the production that meet the tolerance of the behavior that Draymond keep exhibiting?
Yes.
He's a different player. He's not the same player in 2016 as he is today. He was a much better player then.
Agreed.
Had he not got suspended, they won the game. He might have been Finals MVP. You remember that Game 7 that he had, Skip?
Did he?
It was a monster.
Maybe the greatest game I've ever seen him play.
Yeah. What, a 35, 13, and 9. Mm-hmm. I just don't get why he keeps doing this. And he's like, oh, I know what I'm doing. Really? So going into like, you know what? We're going to be down 0-2. I'm going to get suspended, and it's going to rally us. Mm. You already up against it because the Kings are not in awe. They didn't come to praise the Warriors.
Yeah.
They didn't come to, this is going to be a coronation. Y'all, no, bro. We for real.
They're came to bury.
We're the 3rd seed for a reason. Mm-hmm. It's not an accident.
Yeah.
De'Aaron Fox, named clutch player. 91 of 100 votes.
Mm-hmm. For the season.
For the season.
Clutchest player, yep.
He's it.
Yeah.
Skip, like I said, I'm on a 4. I thought he wouldn't get suspended for the simple fact they did give Domantas Sabonis a flagrant 1. Mm. And so, but when you look at his history of these antics, and then, what happened? Wasn't commissioned right there? 2 rows back.
He was sitting in looked like the 3rd row.
And he probably like, oh my goodness, I can't believe this is a national televised game.
Maybe
and this
trying to slink down in the seat so nobody can see him.
Yeah, Skip, like, you know how you come in late for church and you put that hand up like, we see you.
Yes.
You put your hand up, don't make you smaller.
Yep.
You just saying basically, excuse me for coming in late.
Yes.
And that's what the commissioner was. See, I mean, Draymond got to stop this. But I believe this is his final lap around the track with the Warriors.
I told you that yesterday. This is it, over and out. He has had a very good career. We could almost go to a great career because he
had a great career.
He's had 4 All-Star appearances. He was the Defensive Player of the Year in 2017. He's been twice the Steals champ. He's been really good. And by the way, his numbers this year are right on par with his career numbers. They're just coming in different ways.
Yeah,
the impact is not the same.
Okay.
Because it's still, for the regular season this year, 9 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists. That's just Draymond.
Right.
Okay. You say production tolerance. I always say at some point you become more trouble than you're worth. Mm-hmm. He has outlived his worth with the Warriors and with the league. And it was interesting yesterday. Shams, have nothing but respect for Shams, reported that it looked like the NBA must be leaning away from suspending because it kept going deeper and deeper into the evening. Right. And I'm with that report, and I'm not taking any shot at Shams because I thought that sounded correct to me. That rang true.
Were you thinking like, okay, we don't want to upstage any of the starts of the other game because that's going to be the news, that's going to be the story?
Maybe. But it also felt like it took a while.
Right.
It wasn't a cut and dry, slam the book on down on Draymond.
Okay.
It looked like it took some time to wrestle back and forth because we went back and forth. And I told you, if we're just looking at that single incident, I'm not suspending it because Sabonis did start it with what I would call, a dirty tactic.
Right.
It's not a dangerous play.
He's trying to protect himself.
No.
No, you put your hands over your chest or Skip, you getting beaten. They tell you to roll up in the ball, protect your vitals. How you grabbing his leg? That man.
He grabbed his ankle because he didn't want Draymond to get a head start on him and beat him up the floor
5
for a
on 4,
layup.
correct.
And Draymond is notoriously great at doing just that.
Yes.
So he's holding on. It's just one of the it's a Euro tactic. It's just a good tactic. I mean, it's quote unquote dirty pool, but he's trying to literally pull it off.
Right.
And yet Draymond's explanation, I think the commissioner rolled his eyes at, my leg got grabbed a second time in 2 nights. Referees, just watch it. I've got to land my foot somewhere, and I'm not the most flexible person, so it's not stretching that far. I can only step so far in pulling my leg away, so it was what it was. No, it wasn't. You stomped because you were sick and tired of Sabonis banging you, crashing you, and just 3 minutes earlier, I showed you yesterday, we talked about it, there was another play that went out of bounds, and he butts him. He just butts up against him and knocked him back. And they called a foul on Draymond, and then they challenged, and Steve Kerr got it overturned.
Right.
Okay, and here we go with this one. So just in and of itself, I think we agreed yesterday, no, you're not going to suspend him for that. But then the antics started.
Yeah.
And it's what I call conduct unbecoming of an NBA All-Star. It's what you don't want to see. As they're reviewing the play, there's a break in the action, and Draymond just acts out. You talked about a fool. It's foolish behavior.
Yeah.
To me, it's borderline clownish behavior.
Yeah.
It's boorish behavior because I'm just getting tired of the act.
Just go sit down on the bench and let them look at the replay and see what transpired. And then when they make their decision, security's going to walk you. But he got to do the Hulk Hogan, Skip. He got to trial. Give it to me.
Right. And we saw the same act a year ago in Game 1 at Memphis. If we can see that, where he took a victory lap after he got ejected from that game. That was in the second quarter of Game 1. And here we go. Now, this is the play in question, the flagrant foul. And then then he acts out and just remember that he took the victory lap. I think we might have it. I'm not sure we do. But if we could see him, all the antics that took place after this. And then here he goes. And he's dapping everybody up as he did the other night. Is this? Yeah, this is at Memphis. at Memphis as he exits. And he didn't stay to talk to the media on that occasion.
Right.
He went straight back to his hotel because he had just started his podcast, and he went live on his podcast. Mm-hmm. At some point, it feels like he's more interested in his podcast than in his basketball, because it feels like it's a little bit of self-promotion. If I make a spectacle of myself, it's good for business because he's got 1 foot in and 1 foot out.
Right.
And again, he's great at his podcast. He's got a future. He's already signed on with TNT. Okay, all that's great. But it feels like you're the new media. Well, when you're the new media, as you call yourself, you're part of the media.
Right.
Now, obviously, you have a podcast, but you're now a media member. You are in the Hall of Fame, but you gave that up. You went forward, right?
Yes.
Okay, Draymond is sort of 1 foot in and 1 foot out. So next year he has a player option for $28 million. Well, I'm sure at this point he better take it. He better take it.
Opting in.
He better opt in. And yet it feels like, to your point, that Golden State is about ready to opt out. Mm-hmm. As in, how do you get out from under? It becomes Westbrookian for them. Like, okay, how do we get out from under? Do we have to wait to the trade deadline and hope somebody will take an expiring contract off our hands and buy him out?
Right.
Would somebody take him in trade? I don't know exactly what he'd be worth. Would a young team feel like they could use him as a veteran? Okay. When we look at his history in Golden State, we go back to 2016. Mm-hmm. And you know and I know what started happening. He kicked Steven Adams, as you say, rocketed him, right?
Yeah.
And he had a history of doing that.
Right.
And then in the finals, game 4, it was at Cleveland. He got into it with LeBron. He yells at him. He calls him the B word. And then they go up the floor and get tangled up, and he punches him in the below the belt region.
I'm watching how he kicked Steven Adams.
He just kicked him. Yeah.
But he's not flexible, though. He showed that looked pretty flexible to me.
You know, I got to tell you, Steven Adams, I saw in the Athletic poll, was voted as the second player on the list that you wouldn't want to fight.
Right.
Well, I'm surprised Steven Adams didn't respond.
Yeah, Skip, you just trying to catch, on a situation like that, you just trying to catch your breath. Yeah, you like, Lord,
I
don't
got
let me go
it,
out like
but
this.
At some point, when you do catch your breath, is Draymond not going to catch hell? Because Steven Adams is not
man.
To be messed with.
He's
right?
a big man.
Okay. So we had that, which led to what you just pointed out was a suspension, which shocked me. I didn't think they would ever suspend a key player, obviously a starter, but the sort of guts and glue player of those Golden State Warriors.
I think we're both in agreement. We're more shocked that he got suspended in 2016 than he did now.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, because you just can't do it because it's going to shift the balance of power because he was much more important to the 2016 Warriors than he is to the 2023 Warriors.
Yes.
And it shifted. I'm not going to say it's the reason that your Cleveland Cavaliers came back from 3-1 down, but it was a big jumpstart reason because all of a sudden the Warriors go home and they don't look like the Warriors and they look discombobulated and they look like they've lost a little faith. Can you do it? Can you do it? We don't have Draymond. We can't do it. And all of a sudden, LeBron and Kyrie took control of the series and never looked back.
Right.
And go boom, 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 and just wiped them out even in a Game 7. Draymond played great in Game 7, but it wasn't enough to reverse the momentum that had been created by his suspension. Okay, then think of the other instance that we have. We got Draymond versus KD. The biggest reason, the beginning of the end of Kevin Durant in Golden State was the incident in which Kevin and Draymond are sitting next to each other on the bench at what was then Staples Center during a game against the Clippers. And one thing led to another, and they got sideways over who should have been bringing the ball up the floor. And reportedly, Draymond called Kevin the B word.
And then he bobbled the ball.
Yes. Okay. And I'm not sure, Kev, as you always say, that's one word. When you utter it, especially face-to-face to a man, it's hard to come back from that. Apparently, they have forgiven and forgotten, and they are now back to being besties. But at that point, I think Kevin was not happy, and I think it was very hard to rebuild the unity that they had after that incident, right? Okay. And then how did this year start off? You mentioned it. A punch. It might have come and gone if nobody had known about it.
Oh, yeah, it would have come and gone.
I think so. Well, it never would have come because we wouldn't have known about it, right? And yet, it was Draymond punching an up-and-coming rising star who was a threat to him.
Or it would have been worded, there was an incident between Draymond and Jordan Poole.
Okay.
Was it just shoving? So we'd have never known the extent of it.
Well, we got the visual because somehow the video got leaked, which would indicate to me that somebody within the power structure wanted to make Draymond look as bad as you could make Draymond look. And it did, because we all got to see it.
Yes.
And once you can see it, as you know, it just hits you full force right between the eyes, and you say, that was terrible.
Video changes everything.
It does, because
it changed Ray Rice's career.
I was just going to bring that up.
Ray Rice was about to be able to suspend it for 2 games and come back.
I bit my tongue for a second because I thought, do I even want to bring that up? But it did.
But it was the video. It was the video evidence from the elevator. We saw it.
I never got to see Michael Jordan punch Steve Kerr.
Correct.
I didn't get to see him punch Will Perdue. These are reported by Sam Smith in the Jordan Rules book. I don't know what it looked like. I don't know what precipitated it. Those are 2 guys who were not up-and-coming stars. They just got under Jordan's skin during practice.
Right, where they're pushing and shoving. Did they come to blows? Or was it a situation where Jordan just walked up to Steve Kerr and punched him in the eye?
Knowing Jordan the way I do, it just irritated the hell out of him. Steve was making some shots on him or whatever. Maybe Steve said something to him.
I think he said that Steve was being physical and Phil wasn't calling any fouls.
Exactly. That's what it was. Okay. And finally, Mike just says, okay, I've had enough. And he is over-emotional and over-competitive during a scrimmage. This is just a practice scrimmage. And he jacks Steve Kerr in the jaw or hit him. I think he hit him in the eye because he had a black eye.
Right.
Okay. Steve Kerr was no threat to Michael Jordan. Obviously, Jordan Poole had become a threat to Draymond because Draymond used to be part of the big three, and all of a sudden it felt like Jordan Poole was edging into the big three, right? Okay, so the cumulative impact of all these incidents, to me, it affected Commissioner Silver's final reaction to this. Like, at some point, we have to say no to him.
Yeah.
All the antics, all the bad look of this, and all the building up of all these incidents, it felt like that our commissioner here, the NBA, finally just said, you know what? Enough is just enough. It took him until the evening. You make a good point. Maybe he just wanted to wait until later in the Suns-Clippers game to let it go. Yeah. But usually these things are cut and dried, and this wasn't cut and dried. But it's huge that for Game 3, with Golden State, the defending champs, down 0-2 going home.
They're clinging. They're on life support.
They're on life support, and they don't have a guy who used to be their guts and glue. Right. Okay, here's my final takeaway on Draymond's impact. In the dynastic years, and you could certainly include last year, this team needed Draymond's edge. They needed it. He got voted in the athletic poll the best trash talker. Well, he is. Golden State needed it because Steph is baby-faced Steph, right? Mm-hmm. Clay's a really nice guy, right?
Right.
And they didn't have any enforcer. They didn't have much of their edge to their...
Right. He was it.
Yeah, he was it. And yet the edge has gone over the edge into more trouble than it's worth because the positive has slowly become a negative for this Warriors team. Mm-hmm. And to your point about impact, he was the Defensive Player of the Year in 2017. Now, that's 6 seasons ago. Right. Well, this year, a team that's always been top 3, if not top 1 in defense, has fallen to 17th in defense. Draymond's overall defensive win share still ranked pretty high at 22nd. That's still pretty, that's credible. Mm-hmm. It's just one notch below Joel Embiid, and I have high regard for his defense. But 22nd works. 17th doesn't work. So to your point, Draymond's not having the overall driving force defensive impact that he used to have as a perennial Defensive Player of the Year candidate, because I don't think anybody this year talked about him as a Defensive Player of the Year.
No, but when you look at it, Skip, you look at the people that he's guarding. Skip, I didn't realize this. They listed Sabonis at 7'1".
They do?
Yes.
I don't seem that tall. I was going to guess he was 6'10" or 11.
They ranked the top players at each height. Really? He won the 7'1" category.
7-1.
That's exactly what I said. I'm like,
where was it? Who ranked it?
I was just reading on a poll yesterday. I forgot who ranked it.
Well, but I don't think he's that tall. But
I didn't think he was that tall either.
Okay,
but if you look at the guys,
Draymond's banging with him.
But if you look at all the guys that he goes up against, he goes up against 8, 7 foot. Draymond 6'6". He goes against Jokic.
I got it.
He goes up against Anthony Davis.
Okay.
Joel, everybody's big. He's always undersized. He's never guarding a man his size for the most part. Because everybody's center is at least 4 inches taller than he is.
And how does he guard them? How is he effective? It's the way Russ has been effective against Kevin Durant so far in this series. When he guards Kevin, he just gets up underneath him, and he gets extremely physical with him. Almost to the point of, I'm going to bully you.
Right.
And Draymond will fight you beneath you and outposition you. And he's got some Rodman in him because he's not a leaper, but he's a below the rim, high IQ defender and rebounder.
Right.
Okay.
And it's kind of like Rodman, Skip. He understands leverages. He understands angles, and he's constantly, he'll set it. He'll pull the chair out from under you. He'll move. He's constantly moving, so he understands the game. But he just gives up so much in height and weight that it's hard for him. That's why Joel Embiid said, "Oh, you said yoke," and Joel Embiid put the numbers that he put up on him.
He did.
But you're not surprised by that. Joel Embiid is 7'2", 310. Draymond is 6'6", 230?
I think they list him at 6'7", but I'm with you. He looks 6'6"-ish to me.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's only 33 years of age, just turned a month ago, 33. This is finishing year 11 for him. So you would think he still could have some basketball left. It just feels like it's not going to be in Golden State.
I'm going to be surprised that if it's in Golden State, Skip. I think they're starting to look at, like you say, he's more trouble than he's worth. He's not. He doesn't possess this. He has impact, but it's not the same impact. So here's a guy, Skip. He initiates the offense. He's their leader. He's their assist guy.
No, he is.
He's one of their two best defenders, and they're already having a problem defending. So now you remove one of the best defenders. They already have a problem rebounding. He's one of your better rebounders. They're up against it.
Up against it.
The Warriors' net rating is almost 10 points better in this series when Draymond's on the floor versus when he's not. We'll see how his absence affects things, guys, tomorrow night when Game 3 tips off. All right, still to come here on Undisputed. So much to discuss with these NBA playoffs. What do you think, Devin Booker or KD? Who was more responsible for that huge Suns win last night? And do the Grizzlies have any shot tonight if Ja cannot go? And don't forget, you can check us out every day on the Fox Sports Channel on Sirius XM.
It is exciting times at Fox Sports as our team has picked up 2 Webby Award nominations for all of the hard work that was done during the FIFA World Cup over there in Qatar. You need to visit vote.webbyawards.com to support World Cup Now, nominated for the Best Social Content Series, and our World Cup Hub on the Fox Sports app, nominated under Best Mobile User Experience. The voting period is open from now until Thursday, April 20th. Again, please visit vote.webbyawards.com and find our nominations under Best Social Content Series and Best Mobile User Experience.
And I won't back down.
The Suns evened up their series with the Clippers last night thanks to a 123-109 victory. Devin Booker went off for 38 points. 18 of those came in just the third quarter. Talk about coming out of the locker room hot after the break. KD added another 25. Shannon, the Suns look so different Game 1 versus Game 2. What's the biggest reason they won last night?
Skip, Book was sensational. And making Book the primary ball handler, if you notice, he became the primary ball handler in the second and third quarters, and they scored like 10 of the last 11 possessions in the second half, in the first half. But the reason why they won was, and they have to win this way, is that their starters have to blow the doors off the Clipper starter, because their bench, they're not going to get barely anything from the bench. And if you look at their starters, Torrey Craig had another great day. He had 17 points. Chris Paul gave you 16. DeAndre Ayton was in foul trouble, but he hit 7 of 10 shots. So their 5 starters was in double figures. They out Nicholas Batum gave you nothing. Zubac only gave you 8. So now you go to the bench. They got 13 points from their bench, and the Clippers got 22, 24, 30 from their bench. So this is the way they're going to have to win. The role players, I wrote Kawhi Book, push. KD Russ, push. Now go look at Ayton. Go look at Craig. Go look at Chris Paul. That was the difference in the ball game. Yeah, Book was sensational. He couldn't miss. He's not a great three-point shooter, but he had it going last night. KD was KD. KD get to that. If he gets to that spot, just like hope he missed. Or get ready to take the ball out because you're not bothering that shot. You occasionally you catch him from the back. I think Russ blocked the shot one time. He was feeling good about himself. But KD's going to be KD. Extremely efficient. What was he last night? 10 of 19. Book was 14 of 28. Skip, they shot 59%. It's going to be hard for you to beat a team if you let them shoot 59%. And I know there are a bunch of twos, but shooting 59% from the floor on twos, that'll get you 123. So that I believe that was the difference. Ayton did a great job of like he got in foul trouble, but Skip, he made a lot of those 7 to 10 foot jumpers that kept them going because Kawhi got it going. Russ was I'm like, who is this guy? This is like,
thank you.
This is like Russ like 7, 8 years ago.
Who was that guy?
Efficient, Skip. He was 9 of 16.
What?
2 of 3 from the 3.
What?
8 of 8 from the free throw line.
What?
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, who is this guy? And so they need, and see, Skip, that's the thing. I believe Kawhi can continue to play like this. Do you believe Russ can still be efficient like he's been efficient the last game? Maybe he comes back some. But I think the Clippers feel very, very good because it took an outstanding performance from the Suns to overtake them because the Clippers had like a 12-point lead at one point in time.
13.
Okay.
Up 13 with 5:32 left in the second quarter.
And then Book got it going. And then KD was being KD. But, yeah, Skip, as sensational as Devin Booker was, he needed to be sensational because Kawhi wasn't taking a back seat, and KD pushed Russ, but it was those other guys. It was the Torrey Craig, DeAndre Ayton, and Chris Paul that actually won this ball game. Because if Chris Paul gives you another game like he gave you, Skip, they're not winning this game. He hit some big shots. You know, he started getting to that little point and started getting to his spot on the floor and started elevating.
He did.
So, Skip, this has all the makings of a 7-game series. You know that, right? You know that, right? It has all the makings. The best thing that you get Game 7 in your building, but this has all the makings of a 7-game series.
You could be right. I'm going to stick with Suns in 6 because the Suns showed me last night what I wanted and needed to see.
Okay.
The Suns did last night what they absolutely had to do because they were teetering on extinction in Game 2 of the playoff run. If they go down 0-2 at home, having to go back to L.A. for Game 3 against, to your point, a deeper team, as the minutes pile up in this series, it would be huge trouble. It would be game over, series over kind of trouble for the team that I picked to win it all. Instead, the Suns rose late at night on the East Coast. Very late at night, the Suns rose. And they showed you what their big 4 can do. They don't have a big 3. They have a big 4. And you have been all over DeAndre Ayton, and he rose and shone last night because when DeAndre Ayton can give you 14 and 13, but it was when he gave them the points that they needed in the second quarter.
Get 10, he's 5 or 6.
Yes. Then that works. Okay, before I get to my biggest point here, I need to compliment Chris Paul III for what he pulled off last night because you know and I know that Scott Foster was the referee. Chris has lost 13 straight games in which Scott Foster has been the crew chief, the head referee. I don't know what it is. They've had bad blood. Is it in Chris's head? Is it in my head? Because I was afraid I was going to see it, and then I start seeing ghosts and calls from Scott Foster, and I thought there were 2 or 3 what I would call wonky calls, like, what was that? But in the fourth quarter, when I least expected it and needed it most, the closer for the Phoenix Suns was the 38-year-old Chris Paul. There were a couple times when Bones Highland just blew right by him. There were a couple times Russ just blew right by him. And I said, I even tweeted about it, I'm not sure that Chris Paul can stay in front of anybody right now. Okay, but what can he do? He can orchestrate, he can play maestro, and in the end, he can close. Because even though he doesn't really get up off the floor, he can shoot those mid-range jumpers, and he can create his own shot in a weird way where they're complete step backs. They're almost like fall-away jump shots. But he made not one or two. He made 4 in the fourth quarter, and all of them were momentum killers for the visiting team. It was just when I thought that Kawhi couldn't be stopped, and he couldn't be stopped. Right. Chris Paul said, I'm going to put a stop to this. And I'm going to show you, before I get to my larger point, what happened from Chris Paul in the fourth quarter. The first one came with 10:25 left. It was a 19-footer, if we could see this. This is a 19-footer. That's a hard shot for him. And
shot clock running down.
Yeah, right. And that put him back up 9. Then here he goes again.
That's shot,
over Plumlee. That was 17 feet to put them up 11. Here he goes again. And boom, that's 16 feet to put them up 8. That was a real momentum killer. And then another fall away over Big Zoo. That's 19 feet to put them back up 12. Every time that Kawhi said, yes, 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 or Russ said, yes, 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 Chris Paul said, no, not in my house. No, not in my house. And he ends the game. At the end of the game, he went a little out of his way to bump Kawhi as they were leaving the floor. If we could see this, it's just vintage Chris Paul. It's what I do love about him. It wasn't a cheap shot. It's just like, no, I'm not going to take this. I ain't moving either. No, I'm not going to move, and you're not going to move, and neither one of them moved, and they bang shoulders. It's a little bit of, as you well know, a statement that says,
Kawhi day-to-day now.
You think that?
Yeah, he day-to-day right now. Yeah, right now. It's a game time decision.
Okay, I think you're rooting for Kawhi, so you're not going to go as hard on that as you used to. All right, so here's what happened to me last night. Here came the Clippers again. Kawhi Leonard played back-to-back the 2 best games I've seen him play in at least 3 years.
Yeah.
His knees are so creaky. I've heard so many stories about how bad both of them are. They're arthritic, they're decayed, they're flawed, and yet he has turned back into a two-way superstar of a player because he is defending KD at the highest level on the other end.
Right.
I haven't seen that seriously in 3 years, him playing that kind of defense.
Correct.
Now, to your case in point, I don't even know who Russell Westbrook was in either of the first 2 games, but at least in the first game he shot 3 for 19. Right. It was about to be 3 for 20 when Book fouled him. Last night, he was as good as he can get. He was the best he's ever been last night because he was efficient and didn't until late turn it over much at all.
Right.
The point was, can you get much better Kawhi or much better Russ than you got last night?
No.
So they had effectively a big 2. Phoenix last night had a big 4 because back to my point, KD got off to a pretty hot start because he got blindsided and bamboozled and distracted by Russ guarding him right out of the box in game 1, and he wasn't clearly psychologically ready for it, and he missed his first 5 shots, and last night he made 3 jump shots in the first quarter that barely kept them afloat.
But you saw what he did, Skip. He took 8 shots in the first quarter.
Okay, because you have to, because I'm sure Monty is, heck, it's Chris telling him, Kevin, you just got to go.
Yeah.
You just got to shoot it. You're our guy. We're going to go as far as you carry us type thing. Okay, then in the second quarter, KD continued to heat up, but DeAndre Ayton, as you point out from your box score, he was the one who's making jump shots because they're sagging off him. They're saying, you can have that. We'll give you that. And he made 4 of them that not only kept them afloat, but when, again, 5:32, they fall behind by 13. Then they close out the half on a 23-10 run. And who hit the first 2 big shots of that run? Torrey Craig, who's bounced around the NBA. He's been with 4 different teams. He's 32 years of age. He went to, I don't know, you may know it because your brother went to South Carolina. He went to South Carolina upstate. I don't even know what it is. I don't know, but he's born and raised in Columbia, so he's South Carolinian, okay? But again, undrafted, Torrey Craig, he made 2 huge threes to start the run. Those corner threes, where I'm saying, really, Torrey Craig? I'll take it. Here we go. And then they closed out the half on an 11-2 run, and as you know, Book, who had not made a 3 in ages, finally took one because he had to take the bomb at the end of the half, and that tied the game at 59, and it seemed to just completely shift the momentum back to the home team.
Because they came out to start the third.
They go on another big run to start the third. Okay, so who does the third quarter? Well, guess who's turned it in? It's Devin Booker's turn. In the third quarter alone, he goes 7 of 7. He makes both of his threes. He makes both of his free throws. He also has 4 assists. 4 assists? And he dominates the third quarter with 18 points and the 4 assists. So he was the whole offense, both shooting it and distributing it. It was all about Devin Booker. And I liked what Kevin Durant said after the game. He said, I feel like Book is an oversized point guard, to be honest. He said the guy can initiate. He can make plays for others. He can get to the rim with either hand, which he made that one shot, the lefty up off the glass. It was sweet. He can do pretty much everything at the point guard position. So remember, Book's like 6'5", at least 6'5". I think they might list him at 6, but he's 6'5"-ish. Okay? Well, okay, if you can handle and do all those things, that's great. Okay, then in the fourth quarter, after it's his turn, then it's Chris's turn. When I least expected it, Chris Paul makes the 4 shots that I showed you. So you got the big 4 all taking their turns to contribute when you needed to contribute. Okay, that is the formula for winning a championship. That's why I said that morning we were at the Super Bowl, the sun's rising in Phoenix. We got a Phoenix-based crowd. And I said, I think you guys just won the NBA championship because you just acquired Kevin Durant.
Well, and plus the thing is, Skip, their starters are going to have to play major minutes. KD played another 45 minutes last night. Book was 45 minutes. Chris Paul was 38 minutes. Torrey Craig was 32 minutes. DeAndre Ayton was in foul trouble. He played 32 minutes. Skip, they're going to have to dominate the starters for the Clippers because they're going to lose the bench scoring on a nightly basis because of Norman Powell, because of Bones Highland, because of Terrence Mann. So KD, Book, Ayton, and those guys are going to have to be at least plus 10 to 12.
I got it, but don't undersell what Bismack Biyombo did. He was pretty good. He gave him good, valuable minutes. Okay,
he's a rebounder. I'm not guarding him because I know he ain't shooting no shot.
Okay, so, but he can make the little shots. I got it. Okay, and Okogie, I've always liked him all year, and he lost his starting job to Torrey Craig to start the playoffs. But he came in the fourth quarter. You can trust him to make big little plays, and he made a couple of plays that helped in the fourth quarter. Okay, Shannon. Ty Lue hit them with the biggest bunch of Belichickian-like defenses. I've never seen anything like the coverages that Ty Lue masterminded going into this game. Every time down the floor, I'm watching, I'm saying, that's a different look, that's a different look, that's a different look. And after the game, Book said, hey, he said, they're doing a lot of things we just haven't seen. They have a veteran team that can do it on the fly. I don't think a lot of teams can do that. When they're doing that, we just have to simplify. Well, what they were doing was...
Book, go make a play. KD, go make a play.
But against... Sometimes they'd come down and they would run 2 men at KD. Sometimes, as KD said after the game, sometimes he looked up and there were 3 coming at him. Sometimes they would just fall back into a zone. When you least expected it, they'd go zone. And sometimes they just go 5 on 5. Let's take them head up and see if they can figure this out. Well, it's like Belichick would do to Patrick Mahomes. Let's try to confuse him. Let's try to disguise.
Well, you know, Skip, he started, Belichick was the one that started, I rush 3, drop 8. I rush 2, drop 9. I'm going to give, I'll bomb
the equivalent. Listen, Ty Lue is the best strategic coach in basketball, and he hit them with everything he could hit them with a veteran team, switching defenses on the fly, every trip down the floor. And Kevin would look for a while. He said, should I go or not go? And they began to figure it out. And to your point, if I'm the Clippers this morning, I'm saying, damn, we gave it our best shot on defense. We can't play better defense than that. They shot 59%. 59%? I mean, that's pretty great.
But Skip, if you watch that second and third quarter, you watch Book in the third quarter, Skip, that's just one-on-one. He was just getting the ball and just elevate.
Okay, and when he starts feeling it, you know what he can do.
So what am I supposed to do?
He can score 70.
I mean, there are a few times that Book will initiate a Biyombo. Hey, go set the pick on KD. KD come get the ball at free throw line. That's easy money. But a lot of this, Skip, is just one-on-one basketball.
And I got to show you one last quick thing.
It
drives me a little crazy that they don't run more plays for Kevin Durant because, as you know and agree, he's as lethal a mid-range shooter as you'll see. In the middle of the fourth quarter, he made his only jump shot. And beautifully, this is a play for Kevin Durant. It's the only one I saw the whole game. They do a pin down. They pin down, and he comes to the top. Okay, he's open,
That's a bucket.
and he got a bucket on Kawhi Leonard because he got a step on it.
Yeah.
Well, if you give him a step to the free throw line, he can just fall away from the free throw line. It's money.
Right.
Well, wouldn't you like to see a little more of that? That's the only one they ran all night.
Think about this. The Suns were 16 of 22 on mid-range shots outside of 14 feet in Game 2. In Game 1, they were 8 of 25.
Okay, that's what happened. That's why the score was the score.
But you got two of the greatest mid-range shooters in the game today. You got Book and KD.
Okay.
KD shot 57% on twos. Who the hell shoot 57%?
Well, that's historic.
Yes.
Yes.
And then you got Book that's going to elevate Skip, like I said, in the third quarter, Skip. That was just Book putting the ball, driving, and just elevating. Getting to the apex and letting the ball go. What I'm going to do? I'm looking at Ty Lue. Bro, I can't do anything with that.
Okay. So in the end, Chris Paul finally said, I tweeted about this first of the game. Just keep your head down. Don't even think about Scott Foster. If he gives you a sorry, crazy call, just play through it. Just play on. It's not going to end the game right there. And he did. You got to give him credit for rising above the Scott
Foster voted worst official?
He was.
Yeah,
in the athletic poll.
He deserved it.
Okay. All right.
Best official is my homeboy.
He is.
Sean Wright.
Yes, he is.
And then I'm going to go Zach Zarba.
Okay.
And then I'm going to go Sasha.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Okay.
But Scott Foster is definitely the worst.
Well, the Chris Paul would second that emotion.
He's definitely the worst.
When he finally got out of his 0 for 13 skid.
Oh, grading officials. Okay, before we get to too dangerous of territory here, gentlemen,
they can't find
let me
us,
move you along. Flirting with disaster, Shannon. All right, let's talk a little Ja Morant. We've got x-rays back. They are negative on that right hand. However, an MRI does reveal some soft tissue bruising. That means Ja's status for Game 2 against the Lakers tonight, officially questionable. Game time decision. Lakers are a 1-point favorite according to Fox Bet Sportsbook. Shannon, who wins tonight?
I'm gonna go with the Lakers. I think Memphis really needs their best player, and not only for him to just be out there, Skip. He has to play well. You can't play 5-on-4 anymore in the NBA. No. The guys are too skilled. They'll punish that guy. So Ja's gonna have to. Not only does he need to play, he needs to play well. Now he's not a great shooter. Even when his hand is 100% healthy, he's not a great shooter.
30% from three this year.
And he's, 40, 42, 43% from the floor.
Not
So
great.
basically keep him out of but he's tremendous in the paint. He's one of the best paint for a guard. He's like second or third in points in the paint, and he's a guard.
Yes.
So keep him out of there, and the Lakers did a great job of that. And so that's what they need to do. But the Lakers can't relax because a lot of times, Skip, you might be like, he ain't going to play. And if he does play, he's not going to be himself. And so you relax. You can't relax. You got to have a heightened sense of urgency because as Darvin Ham said, we didn't come to just get one game. We got that 1 week. Okay, we got that in our pocket. Well, we here. Let's go and get the other one. Go home 2-0 and don't have to board a plane again. That should be the mindset. Mm-hmm. And if knowing that LeBron is on that team, AD, they got some veteran players that's been there. Hey, this is a business trip.
Yep.
We got the first game, but we're not satisfied. Let's come out, play with a sense of urgency, take them out, take this crowd out of the game early, let them know it's not your night. This is not your series. This is not your year. You've had a great year. Let's go ahead and do this from the jump. And I believe the Lakers take advantage of that. Rui might not give us 29, but we still got AD. AD has been dominant in the series this year against Memphis. Going into the game, Skip, he's 29 points, 20 rebounds. He gave us 22 and 12. Okay. I can expect something similar to that. But old GOAT just lied in the weed.
Is he? Well, he's been hiding in the weeds. He's been hiding for the last 2 games.
But the Kobe of the Ozark, you already know what he's going to do.
Is it possible LeBron's now taking a back seat to old hillbilly Kobe?
He Philip Drummond. He get dribbled around. Let him drive it around. But when you need, he can still drive now. You don't do that, Skip. You saw that play-in tournament. You saw Utah both games. You know what this man is capable of doing.
He is capable. I give you that. He better be capable tonight. Okay, so tonight rides on Ja. Will he or won't he play? I'm going to stand by what I said to you yesterday.
Okay.
If he does play, I do like the Lakers because I don't think he'll be 100%. And if he tries to go win one for the Gipper, as we used to say, I don't think it will be great for the home team because he's not capable of taking over the game with a, let's just call it a very sore hand, because it's not busted, it's not broken, it's not. I don't think we can't go so far as to say it's injured. All the tests were okay, but he has severe soreness in it because you saw it. It bent back in a way it can't go.
Exactly.
All right, so it's his shooting hand, and you know, and I know the touch probably won't be there.
Right.
Okay. What do I see in Ja Morant? I love Allen Iverson. I became his biggest fan. I've written big pieces about him for a magazine here lately. But the point is, I think Ja gets up a little higher than AI ever got up. He can get up.
Yeah.
And because of that, that's what detonates this team, is Ja making plays like that, way above the rim, usually on semi-breaks or pure breaks, where he just gets he gets a head start, a head of steam, and he gets up. It feels like he's jumping above the backboard, and it ignites the home crowd. Okay, that's what they need tonight, but I don't think he's capable of giving him that tonight.
Okay.
All right, so now I'm back to, we made a bet yesterday, and I'm going to stand by it.
Okay.
If Ja starts the game, bet is off.
Bet is off, okay.
If Ja doesn't start the game, if Tyus Jones plays, again, if Ja's going to play, he's going to start the game.
Correct.
So again, if he doesn't start, I'm going to say he's not going to play.
Okay.
If Tyus Jones is the starter and the finisher for Memphis tonight at home, I'm going to like Memphis because he's a stabilizer and he's way underrated as the best backup point guard. He could be a starting point guard for a bunch of teams because he is really good at what he does. He's not a high flyer, but he's a way better three-point shooter than Ja is because he's a 37%er. And he has explosive capability. It's just not spectacular because 9 times this year, 9 times he scored 20-plus points. And I keep bringing up that game against the Clippers out here in early March. In the third quarter alone, he scored 20 points.
Yeah, he's solid, not flashy.
Hey, but listen, if you have the capability of scoring 20 in a quarter against a pretty good defensive team in the Clippers, you're pretty good.
Yeah,
you're being very underrated.
For sure.
There were 9 times this year that he had at least 10 assists. And since March 1st, he had 6 times double-digit assists. He had a 14, a 12, 12, 11, 10, and 10. That's just since March 1st.
Right.
Can he orchestrate a little better than Ja? Yeah, I think he's a purer point guard than Ja is. Just having a feel for it, where he can be a pass-first point guard who, if called upon, if left open, he will hurt you.
Yeah.
Okay, so the point is, I would like them coming together, rallying, going into that old wounded tiger theory where you just rise up and play the best you can. You play a little over your heads. Listen, Memphis, they're the all-time front runners. I don't think I've ever seen a team like them. And they front run better with Ja. But again, tonight will be a basketball game where they just need to play some real, live, solid basketball. And with Tyus, I think they have a better chance of winning. So I'll go. If Tyus plays, I'm going to go.
But here's the thing, Skip. We all know that LeBron can go in that phone booth and come out.
He can.
Now, will he need to tonight? Will Commissioner Gordon send a signal up? We need Batman.
We just mixed metaphors. We went from Superman to Batman.
Yeah, but he might look up there and see that emblem.
Would you rather have Superman or Batman?
It doesn't matter. I got that belt.
I'd way rather have Superman.
But see, Batman got all them. You got a car. Superman ain't got no car.
Okay.
He ain't got no belt.
Well, Batman is mortal.
Hey, he ain't mortal.
Okay.
He got a bat belt. Got everything you need.
LeBron's got to be Superman.
He put a bat belt or a 50-piece. Yeah. He'll pull that 50-piece out.
Yep. Okay.
Do we need that tonight? Probably not. We understand. Look, they're not going to go down without a fight. They're a very prideful team. They're home.
Yep.
Dylan Brooks and Bane and Triple J, they're going to rally those guys together. And if Ja doesn't play, you're right. They'll rally around him. But I believe the Lakers are the better team, even with Ja.
You know what? I think they're significantly better, but I thought that at the trade deadline. You turned it around at the trade deadline, and you built momentum.
Yeah.
LeBron got his month off that he sorely needed, and now he's fresh. Now he got another nice break. What they get now? It's like
we got 3 days.
Three plus days, right? Because it was.
And then we don't play again until Saturday.
Okay, that works. So somebody upstairs is favoring you.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
We favor.
Okay.
You know we favor.
Okay. But if Ja tries to go tonight, I think you'll just do what you do because you're better. You still have. Okay, even if Ja plays.
I'm slapping a hand.
Hey, okay, well, you could slap it.
Hey,
And
true.
They will. He'll bother him and slap him a
You
little
like
bit.
kid reach for something and pop that hand. Hey, get that hand.
Okay, I got it. But in the big picture, I told you going into this series, when they tip it off, the two best players standing out there around that circle,
Yeah, Bron and AD.
they're going to be your two guys. That's what it is.
Yeah.
So they were 3.5-point favorites in game one, and I'm like, I don't think so. And now it's shifted all the way over to you're a 1-point favorite at Memphis in game two because I think the odds makers saw the light. It may have something to do with Ja's health, but I just think they're looking at it like, no.
They ain't giving us no respect. We're number 1-point favorite. We supposed to be 4-5.
I know, but that was a 4.5-point swing off game one. You won the odds makers' respect, as you should have.
Gonna get some more of it too.
Okay, are you?
Yep.
Okay, will LeBron go for 35 tonight?
If we need to.
Okay.
We feel it out. Okay, we felt the game out. Okay, Rui was doing his thing. Reeves was doing his thing. So my services weren't required as much as they normally would be. But just know, at 38, I still got that in me. I got it in me.
Okay, Superman or Batman?
Whichever one we need. Which one we need?
I think before it's over, you're going to need Superman.
I don't think so.
No?
I don't think we'll call on him. No.
Okay.
He busy.
He's busy?
Yeah, he on a date with Lois.
Is he? Okay. Well, lately, he's just been Clark Kent.
No. Who? No, don't do that, Skip. Don't do
He's been
that.
out there in street clothes being Clark Kent.
You saw that man to play in.
He's working for the Daily Planet.
Hold on, time out.
He might as well be covering the game instead of playing it.
Skip, how can you say 30, 11, 6, 2 and 2? It's Clark Kent.
Clark Kent.
How you do that?
Quiet fourth quarters.
Hold on. Quiet fourth quarter? I know a guy had a quiet fourth quarter last night. You ain't say nothing. I know a guy that had a quiet. Let me go and look over here to the fourth quarter stat right quick.
Yeah.
I know a guy had a quiet fourth quarter now. Are you sure you want to do that?
Yep, I do. Because that guy got ostracized by his own team. They don't even feed him the basketball.
There you go. Now you don't feed him the basketball. You see what you just did?
Yeah.
Now you blaming Book. You blaming CP3 not giving him the basketball.
That guy can be Superman.
This guy could be whatever, man.
Called upon.
Skip. The man got 267 playoff games under his belt.
He does.
More than anybody.
Yeah, that's a lot of mileage.
Right? I can't tell.
Yeah.
It's still purring. They're going down the road just purring.
He's slowing down.
Nah, he ain't slowing down. Don't do that, Skip. Don't do that. Don't do that. You know how somebody slow it down.
Yeah.
Batgirl over here, gentlemen, is sending you the bat signal that we're out of time.
Okay.
I don't want to run out of racing room to talk about the Warriors. You think they can avoid going down by 3 without
Better.
Draymond Green?
Good question.
We'll get Skip and Shannon's take on that when we come back.
Hey, college football fans, Joel Klatt here. And over on my podcast, The Joel Klatt Show, we discuss the best teams, players, and storylines in college football. This month, leading up to the NFL draft, I'm giving you my mock drafts, top 50 prospects, and interviews with draft experts. So follow The Joel Klatt Show on the Fox Sports app, Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts, and get in on the fun.
Draymond Green suspended for the Warriors' pivotal Game 3 against the Kings. This because of stomping on Sabonis. The NBA said in a statement, quote, the suspension was based in part on Green's history of unsportsmanlike acts. Shannon, how much are the Warriors going to miss Draymond in Game 3?
They're going to miss him a ton. They're down 0-2, Skip. It's all hands on deck. Clearly, Draymond isn't the same player from 2016, but he's still a valuable player. He's their assist guy. He's their rebounder. He's their enforcer. If you go look at it, Skip, their rebounding percentage dropped from 50% to 38%. And they're already getting crushed because they're a small team. They're a small rebounding team. And so now you take another defender off the court. Who's going to guard Sabonis? I mean, he has his hand full with Sabonis. Loon is not fast enough. Is not agile enough to deal with Sabonis. No.
He's long enough.
He's long enough, but he's too slow-footed.
Yeah.
And so, Skip, they need him. And so they got, but now they're saying Sabonis is questionable. Maybe that's why they suspended. Say he got a bruised sternum because Draymond stomped on it pretty hard.
He did. This is just me. I thought Sabonis sold it pretty hard.
That Draymond was marching in place. Left, right. On that man's chest. And then he wondered why. He talking about, I'm not that flexible.
Okay.
You did a 1-2 job.
Win a bet Sabonis starts the game tonight?
Yeah, I got to sell it, though, Skip. I got to sell it, making sure that,
Yeah.
My chest is a little sore, though. I come out there with a flap jacket on. Making sure,
All right, maybe you wear a flak jacket.
Make sure nobody hits me with my sternum. But they're going to miss him, Skip. They're going to miss him. And because I get it, that you're at home and the crowd's going to be electric, E40 probably be in the stands and you want them,
He will.
But Skip, I mean, this Sacramento King and Mike Brown knowing, he's like, look, we got to take the crowd out of this thing early.
Yeah.
We can't let them start the front run. Skip, we know how they start front running. Steph's going to start shooting the ball and turning and going up court. And
he will.
He's going to start doing all this stuff.
Agreed.
He's going to start shimmying on you. And Mike Brown says, don't let that happen.
Yep.
And so they're going to miss him a ton. They're going to miss him a ton. Like I said, Skip, he's not 2016 Dre, but as far as rebounding, running their offense, playing defense, getting them in the right sets, he's their free safety. He's very important. Not as 2016, but he's a valuable piece to what they do, and he's going to be missed.
Okay, I hear everything you just said. I preface my remarks with a staggering stat.
Okay.
In NBA playoff history, teams that fall down 0-2, or let's do it the reverse, teams that go up 2-0 go on to win the series 92% of the time. 92%.
It ain't looking good for Golden State then, huh?
I find that stat hard to sort of compute.
Right.
Like, wait a second. You fall behind 2-0. It doesn't matter home or road. You fall behind 2-0, you're pretty much cooked.
Right.
Okay, so it doesn't look good for the defending champ.
Correct.
Okay, what do they have on their side? They still got the greatest shooter ever.
Yeah.
At SAC in games 1 and 2, Steph Curry was, let's just do as a team, they shot 32% from three. Steph shot 33%. He was 9 of 27.
Mm-hmm.
It's not exactly Steph-alicious, right? Clay was much better. He shot 42%, 10 of 24. Okay, the problem is Sacramento shot even worse from three than Golden State did because as a team, they shot 30% in the first 2 games. Mm-hmm. De'Aaron Fox shot 33% because he was 6 of 18. He did make that one late big one the other night when he got the wide open one. All right. The point is, when Golden State goes home, they've been very good at home.
Yeah.
They were 33-8 in the regular season
Very good.
at home. And that was the 3rd best home record in all of basketball.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, they'll shoot the ball a little, if not a whole lot better at home. Their 32% from three is going to be 40% from three. All right, I'm here to make the case that at least for this one game, despite all the correct points that you made, all the valid, realistic points that you made, I'm going to make the case they'll be a little better off psychologically without Draymond in Game 4.
You think so?
Just because this is do or die. This is pulled together. This is everybody saying, I got to be even better than I am. And if you remember, the odd man out so far in games 1 and 2 has basically been Jordan Poole because he's barely played the first 2 games. He can flat out light it up.
Yeah.
He can go Steph. He can go Clay.
Yeah,
right?
but unfortunately, the guy that he's guarding can light it up too because he ain't going to play no defense.
Well, that's why he didn't get much run at Sacramento. But the point is, at home, they could fall back on, we're just going to do what we do at home. We're going to shoot you out of this gym.
Okay.
We're going to light you up from three, and we're going to do it with, we're going to have to go small. Loon can play, obviously, and Kuminga can play.
Right.
And you just have to try to survive.
Right.
But you know and I know, threes beat twos every time.
But here's the thing.
If you can make enough threes.
If you can make enough, but Skip, no rebounds, no rings.
No,
and the reason why they don't get rebounds, they're a very small, undersized team. And when you don't rebound, you can't fast break.
Okay, but nobody can rebound when they have to take the ball out of the basket, right?
Well, you giving an awful lot of credit. But I think, Skip, here's the thing. They tried to go Kuminga the other night, and it didn't go too well for him. But they got to, at some point in time, you got to stop somebody from scoring too, though. You remember like when they were like really good and winning titles, they top 5, top 3. Their defensive rating isn't the same.
Yep.
And you take the premier cause of that defensive rating, why it was so high, Draymond out. They're not counting on Draymond. Skip, he give you 8 points.
Yeah.
They're not counting on him to score. They're counting on him to give you all the other things that he brought to the table.
All right, I understand all of the above. I also understand the Kings were 25-16 on the road.
So what is that? That's the best?
It was the best in the West.
Yeah.
It was the third best record in the league,
Okay.
but it's only a game behind Milwaukee because Sacramento's tied for second in road record. Milwaukee was one game better. They were 26-15 to Sacramento's 25-16.
Yeah.
So my point is the Kings were real close to being the best road team in all of basketball.
Okay, so it's not like Golden State.
No.
Golden State's terrible on the road, really good at home.
They're both.
Exactly.
They're both.
Exactly.
Yeah, they light the beam at home, and they can light your beam on the road.
Oh,
too,
exactly.
right? Okay. So the
Sound like
point
you're
is,
taking the Warriors.
I'm taking the Warriors to win Game 3, but I've already told you that. But I like it even more now without Draymond because I believe that locker room, as much as look, he's won 4 rings with that group.
Don't do that. Don't do it, Skip. I know what you're going to say. Don't do it.
No, I think they're just getting a little sick and tired of his act. Just a little sick and tired. Not that they despise him because he's a brother to them.
Right.
He is one of, man. And when you've been to battle with him as many times and he goes to battle.
You think his antics are a distraction?
Yes. And in their hearts of hearts, they're saying, you know what? It's going to be a little relief to not have him around this time. Let's see if we can all pull together and just make shots. If they make shots, they will win Game 4. But they got to make a bunch of shots because, to your point, they're going to lose the paint battle. Mm-hmm. They're going to lose it badly.
Man, I can see Sabonis having a 20-20-10 game.
Yeah. Okay. I'm flipping the script here because I picked Sacramento to win the series, and I'm sticking with it. You had Golden State to win the series, but I don't think they're going to get swept, and I think they will rise up as the defending champs that they are with their pride and their tradition, and they will say, not in our house. You're not going to put us down 0-3 in our own house.
They got their work cut out for them.
Well, they do. And I know that they do because the other team is serious business. They're legit. They have arrived. They're not arriving. They have arrived.
They smell blood in the water.
Yes,
they're
they
circling.
Do. Okay, they do. But I still like Golden State. And I'm not going to bet you on this game because I like Sacramento to win the series.
Right.
So it's like, I don't want to bet against the team I picked.
I know.
But I do think.
I picked Golden State, and I'm like, for what I saw the first 2 games and not Draymond being suspended, I'm not confident in my pick. That's for sure.
Yeah.
They're definitely not winning 4 straight.
Okay. It'd be very interesting if they make a statement of, we're going to win this game without Draymond. That would be a resounding statement.
In more ways than one, that's for sure. That could bode, that could be telling for the future. A lot of folks, guys, consider this game a must-win for the Warriors. When we come back, we must dive further into this Suns series. Do you think Phoenix fully gained control of their series over the Clippers with that big win last night? Let's unpack the X's and O's in just a moment.
Baseball is back, and so is flipping bats.
5 times a week, Monday through Friday.
So follow us on the Fox Sports app, YouTube, and anywhere you get your podcasts.
The Phoenix Suns evening up their series with the Clippers last night. They won 123-109. Devin Booker dropping 38 points, KD adding another 25. Now, the series shifts to Los Angeles. According to Fox Bet Sportsbook, the Suns still, though, remain favorites to advance. Shannon, which team do you think is now in control of this series?
But are the Suns favored in Game 3 or are the Clippers favored?
I haven't seen that yet, but I'm assuming the Clippers would be favored slightly at home by 2-3 points.
Okay, I think the Clippers are in control because they did what they wanted to do, Skip. The Suns really, that was a must-win. And you hate saying, Skip, it's so early, but you just read the stats. When you go down 0-2, there's an 8% chance that you come back and win the series.
That is it.
There's a 92% chance the team buries you. So they could ill afford to go down.
They couldn't. Listen, I told you yesterday, that was do or die for a team that I picked to win it all.
The Suns are favored by 3.
Suns are favored by 3 at Clippers. I didn't know that. Okay.
I didn't know that either. Just got that information.
Well, I don't think they should be because that's not what I saw in the first 2 games.
I didn't see that either.
Okay, but I will say this. you know and I know, the Clippers don't have what I call a strong home court advantage.
No, they don't. The question is, Skip, is can Russ replicate that performance? Now, I don't believe they can win another game if Russ goes 3 of 19.
Yeah.
But the question is, can he go what he went 9 of 16? Can he do that? Kawhi's going to be Kawhi. Kawhi's going to average 30 in this series. KD Book can offset that. The starters, can Torrey Craig continue his hot streak? Because he got 20 plus in the first game, he got 17.
Yep.
Can DeAndre Ayton continue what he did? Can he build on what he did in game 2?
Because he did outplay Big Zoo.
He outplayed him.
Yep.
He outplayed him, 14 and 13. Because Zoo outplayed him the first game.
He did.
Chris Paul.
Can you make 4 big jump shots in the fourth quarter?
So that is going to come down. Suns outscored him on the bench, got outscored 30-13. That's where the Clippers have the advantage is that when they bring in Norman Powell, they bring in Terrence Mann, they bring in Bones Highland.
Yeah.
KD, the question is, Skip, how much longer? Can KD play 7 games, averaging 45 minutes? Can Book play 7 games, averaging 45 minutes? Can CP3 on 36, 37-year-old legs play 7 games, going 39 minutes? That is the question because, they're going to have to get one of these games here in order to get it back, but it has the makings of a 7-game series. And in a 7-game, game 7, anything can happen. But I think the Clippers, because they went and they got it in the fashion in which they got game 1, I think they have control of the series.
Okay. To your point earlier in the show, this has 7 games written all over it. Fortunately for the Suns, that would be back in the Valley of the Sun, which is in Phoenix.
Well, last time they had a game 7, it didn't go too well for them.
It did not go very well for them because Luka and company and with Jalen Brunson tore them up. It was 123-90.
Yeah.
Yikes. That's like 33 points, right?
33.
Yeah, 33 points. Okay, so I'm in a crazy, awkward position because before the year started, I picked the Clippers to win it all. Then when they went and added Russ, which I found incomprehensible, I jumped ship off the Clippers, who are named for ships, actually.
Yes.
And I jumped on the new bandwagon driven by Kevin Durant because he joined the Phoenix.
San Diego Clippers.
Okay, they were the San Diego Clippers as in boats.
A la Buffalo Braves.
As a Buffalo, yes.
Bob McAdoo.
It's crazy. That's true. They were showing some McAdoo highlights last night because of
Bob McAdoo.
Gundy.
There's a reason he's the top 75. Bob McAdoo could play. He's an MVP.
Lord. When he got it going,
yes.
How tall was he? 6'9"?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's on those 80 Laker teams.
Was he? As kind of like a 6th man?
Yeah.
Okay. So the point is that it's too bad, although it's too great for fans, that these two had to meet in the first round because these two teams are really good. Are both teams capable of winning it all?
Yeah,
they're capable.
Especially if the Clippers get Paul George.
If you get Paul George back, you got a real shot.
Yeah, because now you got a real 1-2 punch.
Okay, I still believe that in the end, Russell Westbrook will prove more trouble than he's worth.
Oh, he's going to be the death of the Clippers.
He'll be the haywire gene that will go haywire when you least expect it. And he did have the 2 late turnovers last night, but I'm not going to make too big a deal of it because the game was pretty much out of control at that point. But he did have 2. But Chris Paul had a lot to do with those turnovers because he's deflecting the basketball.
Right.
Okay, so what did I see last night? I guess I saw last night what the odds makers are seeing. I saw showcase. I saw tour de force. I saw Ty Lue throw everything but the kitchen sink at KD, Book, CP3, and Ayton defensively. I saw him mix it up in ways I don't think I've ever seen an NBA team mix up its defenses on every possession basis. I saw triple teams on KD. I saw double teams. I saw single teams. I saw zone. I saw big men playing drop defense. I saw him come out high. I saw everything you could think of to discombobulate a Phoenix team that doesn't have that many reps together. And it threw them in game 1. They were not ready for the onslaught of defenses that they saw, and they couldn't figure it out on the fly.
Right.
They're just as veteran as the Clippers are, but, man, the Clippers are really veteran. They're battle-tested, and Ty Lue he's got to be the best coach in basketball.
I love Ty Lue.
Yeah, how can you not? And it's just too bad that he wasn't your Laker coach when he should have been. On time, we'd be having really different conversations.
We might have 2 rings.
You know what? You just might.
Well, injuries got us, though.
Okay, all right. But again, maybe he's a good luck charm where people don't get hurt. Maybe he manages minutes better. I don't know.
Maybe.
Okay. So the point is, it looked to my eye last night, and I don't want to overstate this, it looked like Phoenix gained psychological control of the series. It felt like the Clippers have to wake up this morning and say, God, we tried everything we had. We emptied the book on them, and book took us to the cleaners.
Right.
Because it was on time. It was KD in the first quarter. Then all of a sudden it was Ayton in the second quarter. Then it was Book going 7 of 7 and what was it, 3 of 3 from three in the third quarter and scoring 18 points. And then it was Chris Paul closing the deal with 4 jump shots in the fourth quarter. Well, that's tour de force. That's exactly why I picked Phoenix to win it all. I don't know that they can play any better because I don't know that the Clippers can play any better defense than they played. I've never seen Russell Westbrook play defense like he has in the first 2 games because when I used to, I've never seen him play much defense to begin with.
He's hungry.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, he's hungry and he's got.
But the Suns are going to have to do a better job of not fouling. The Clippers took 17 more free throws. They made 15 more.
That's a good point. Yep.
They got to have to do a better job of not fouling. I mean, and you think, okay, I took a foul like, the first 2 minutes of the quarter. And next thing you know, with 6 minutes to go, they had the free throw there in the bonus for the rest of the game.
They were.
I mean, the rest of the quarter. And they shot 90%, 28 or 31.
I know. And I thought Devin Booker committed at least 3 silly fouls.
Yes.
And Ayton's got 3 fouls, and then he just goes on the baseline and fouls Kawhi.
Right.
And it's just like, no, that's not smart.
Right.
You got to be better than that.
Right.
So they keep sending him to the line, and the Clippers keep making the free throws.
Yeah.
Okay? I got it. I thought Phoenix last night played a lot of dumb basketball. Like, seriously, I'm like, what are you guys thinking? But in the end, it was a big 4 was better than the big 2, dare I say, of again, there's no PG, but Kawhi and Russ were big 2.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. But at the end of the day, Skip, it's still going to come down to Ayton, CP3, and Torrey Craig because you hope your 2 big guns cancel each other out. Remember, that was the difference in the series. You go back and look at Golden State when they played the Cavs. LeBron and KD cancel. Kyrie and Steph cancel.
Yeah.
But Clay giving them that work. And so that's the difference. So now I know, look, Nikola Batum gave you nothing. Zubac gave you 8.
He can D up on KD.
But
he's
Skip,
long and he's smart.
But sometimes, Skip, he'll get hot from those corner threes.
Well, he has, but he hadn't been in the first 2 games. He'd give you 0, man.
Well, in order for the Suns to hope that he continue to get, because I'm going to help off of him until he proves he can knock those shots down. Yeah, I got to come to Kawhi.
He played 19 minutes and gave you 0 points and missed all 4 shots.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
And Zubac was only 8 and 6.
Yeah.
Remember the first game? I think he was like 15 and 13.
He dominated.
He dominated.
Yeah.
But Norman Powell, Skip, you know how he is at home now. He'll shoot the lights out the building at home.
He was actually streaky cold last night, and he could have been the X factor. But every time he put a shot up, I was closing one eye, and he was missing.
I tell you what, know who is not cold? Terrence Mann. Every time he come in the game, just good things happen when he comes into the game.
Okay? This is why I said, why did you acquire Russell Westbrook? Well, right now, Ty could say back to me, well, because Russ is just better than he is. Russ is more proven. Russ is a top 75. Russ is a slam dunk first ballot Hall of Famer. And to Ty's point, he's playing like it now.
Yes, he is.
And he played him 36 minutes last night. He played him most of the fourth quarter. So it's hard to argue with it, but I still say Russ will be their undoing before this series is over.
So, but you feel like the Suns have regained momentum.
I do, and I believe the Suns will win Game 3, but I will not be surprised if the Clippers win Game 4 and it goes back to Phoenix for them to have to take back control of the series. Listen, the Clippers are really good.
They are. They're really good.
And Kawhi is playing at the
Skip, I think they're more well coached than they are good. You look at that. I mean, when you look at this team, Skip, Nicholas Batum, Zubac, Gordon is streaky also, Skip. I think because they're so well coached, and he gets to him, he's like, look, hey, all they doing is playing harder than we are. That's all they're doing.
Yeah. And smarter.
Yeah, he just has a way. He has like a calming effect. He just has a way to like giving his guys encouraging without they doing all this and all that. And I guess that's different because You know good and well, I ain't never heard no football coach talk like that.
Yep.
We getting beat. They ain't talking like, oh, they just play harder. That ain't how they talk. That's not how they talk to us, Skip.
No, I got it. One last point on this. You just showed me in the break that Russ and KD were talking up in the sort of the tunnel area after the game, and that they dapped each other up, and then they kind of put a quick arm around each other. It wasn't a full-on hug, but it was a kind of a half a hug. Okay, so it indicates to me that they're okay.
Yeah,
they're cool, right? That actually to me is advantage Suns, because I don't want Russ to be hell bent to get even with KD, even though they were going to in a timeout. They had a quick exchange back and forth. But it sounds like they're okay right now, right?
Yeah.
So I don't want Russ to play possessed against KD.
Well, right now, there it is right here. They're showing it.
Oh, there we are. Yeah. That's going to break, and I don't know what they're saying. Okay.
You know what I just saw? Kawhi showed up on the injury report when he bumped shoulders with Chris Paul.
Did he?
Yeah, he showed up on the injury report.
Well,
day to day.
All right. Well, now that you're rooting for them,
who I'm rooting for? I picked the Suns.
You're anti-Kevin Durant.
No, I ain't no anti. Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
No.
Well, you just don't want Kevin to rise back into being the best player on the planet.
No. I'm anti-Kawhi.
You're anti-Kawhi? Okay. Well,
all things Clippers. Look. I wish Ty Lue was somewhere else so I could really give him my support. But he with the Clippers. Can't do that.
Yeah.
So I support a little bit.
A lot of mixed emotions here. Right?
Nah, ain't no mixed emotions. I want the Suns to do. I want the Clippers to go home.
Okay, but you do like Ty Lue.
I love, yes. But I want the Clippers and Clipper Darryl and Marcellus Wiley to go home.
Okay. All right.
While we still playing.
Okay. Well, they will go home in 6 games. That's what's going to happen.
I'm counting on KD to do that.
Yep.
All right, KD. Be a man of skip words. He said, y'all send them home in 6 games.
Okay.
Let's go, Book.
Yeah, I don't want to see a Game 7 back in Phoenix.
Anything happen in Game 7.
You got that right.
Guys, a Game 7 is exactly what Fox Bet Sportsbook is predicting. They say this series goes all 7 games, and the Suns come out on top. We shall see. All right, I do hate talking about injuries, but unfortunately, they are making a major stamp on this playoff series. Are the Bucks now in danger of going down 0-2 against the Heat, especially if Giannis can't go tonight? Let's dive in when we come back. The Bucks, 6.5-point favorites over the Heat tonight, according to Fox Bet Sportsbook. Giannis suffered a lower back contusion, back bruise, and couldn't finish Game 1, don't forget. The Bucks lost that game. Now tonight, Giannis is officially listed as questionable. Shannon, you picked the Bucks to win it all. How much trouble do you think they're in now, though, with Giannis' injury?
Big trouble if he doesn't play. They'd be on life support too, Skip. He's not only the best player on the team, he's the best player in the league. There are not very many teams that can overcome something like this, especially against a team as battle-tested as the Miami Heat. And they got playoff Jimmy, a guy that you know he can go get buckets, he can make it tough on you on the defensive end. Now, Bobby Portis, if Giannis is out, Bobby Portis was likely slide into the starting lineup, and he averages 17 and 10 in starts. But what they're going to need more from Holiday. Now, Holiday got voted by that poll, I think, in the Athletic as the most underrated player.
He got voted the best defensive player.
Best defensive player. Well, you're going to need to do a better job on Jimmy Butler. And he's going to have to give you more points than what he gave you. Chris Middleton came out and played an excellent ball game, gave you 33. Holiday's going to have to come along with him. He might need to give you 30.
Yep.
So that's what they're up against if Giannis can't play. Now, he's, it was doubtful, possibly out. Not questionable, which means there's a greater chance that he's going to play than not. But then how sore is that back? How impactful can he be? I'd take me a Toradol shot and be able to go in there. I'd be jumping up and down. So that's what I'm thinking. But if Giannis can't play, or if Giannis is only a shell of himself, they'd be in huge trouble.
Yeah. Toradol shots work.
They do.
They do. They're dangerous, but they work.
Yeah.
They mask everything. So, right?
Being in pain is dangerous too. Try to be a professional athlete.
I got it. Okay. This is the one visiting team you don't want to mess with.
Correct.
Because if he Okay, he's been upgraded now to this indicates he's probably going to try to play, to your point, try, but he is quite sore because he has your basic bruised tailbone.
Hey, he ain't no bone anyway. He ain't got no fat on him, Skip.
I got it. You got a huge break when Tyler Hero busted his hand diving for a loose ball. He's now obviously out, and I remind you that this year he tied for the most game-winning shots with De'Aaron Fox made in the league this year. So he is a late game, big game, clutch game shooter. So he's down and out. So that's some advantage to the Bucks. The Bucks are, you want to talk about veteran, battle tested?
Oh, yeah.
They're as veteran as you can get.
Yeah.
So whatever they can give you without Giannis or sort of in spite of Giannis, they will give you. But you don't want to go down 0-2 going back to Miami, or you're going to be in big trouble with Giannis. You're going to be in trouble.
Yeah.
Okay, now, bigger picture. We have gone back and forth about this again and again and again, and I refer one more time back to the Athletic poll. This is current players anonymously voting, and they voted Joel pretty much the runaway MVP, Joel Embiid.
Yeah.
But when it came to building the team, which player would you build the team around? Giannis ran away with it, and Joel barely got any votes. But Giannis got 52.3% of the voters. It's a lot.
Yeah.
It just showed you it was just like, no, we want Giannis.
Yes.
I don't get it. I still say Joel is better than Giannis. I still say that the knock on Joel drifted away this year because it's always he's hurt and sick, hurt and sick, hurt and sick. Would you believe that this year in the regular season, Giannis missed more games than Joel Embiid did? It was 19-16. It's still close, but Giannis missed 19 games, and now potentially he missed part of the game the other day when he legitimately got hurt.
Right.
But he's had knick-knack injuries right and left. He's got a little of this and a little of that. Nothing yet career-threatening.
Right.
But he's starting to show some wear and tear because he plays, so to speak, his tail off.
Yeah, but I think the thing is good because he drives the ball so much.
Does.
He always ends up on the court an awful lot. And he might need to get some of those, like running back pass, some of those tail pads to protect his butt. Like I see a lot of these players be wearing, Skip, because they fall down so much. And Skip, he's bony. I mean, he's 7 foot tall, 6'11", however tall he is, but it's not like he has a whole lot of cushion.
He's bony strong.
Yeah. It's not like he got a whole lot of cushion that he can fall down on, Skip.
Okay.
But you're right. They're going to be in huge, huge trouble.
Yeah.
If they mess around and let Miami steal this game. But Holiday needs to be arguably the best, and you can make the case that he is one of the best two-way. I think Giannis is the best two-way player because you factor in offense and defense. But Holiday is a top 5, top 3 two-way player. He needs to be that nice, Skip.
Okay.
He can't let Jimmy Butler do in game 2 what he did in game 1.
All right. So back to the bigger picture. Are you still taking Giannis over Embiid to build around for the next 5, 6, 8 years?
I am.
Okay. Giannis is about, let's call it 9 months younger. Okay. So I'll give you that. But I don't know how you can build around a guy who can't shoot.
Right.
I mean, I look at his free throws this year. He's 64.5%. That's worse than Russell Westbrook. That ranks 119 out of 123 qualified. I look at three-point shooting, which for a while it looked like he had improved to some degree where he can be a threat. He's all the way down at 27.5%. Again, that would be the worst in the league if he qualified. He doesn't take enough.
Didn't shoot enough, yeah.
Okay, Joel Embiid makes 86% of his free throws. He leads the league in free throws made per game.
Right.
He hadn't shot as well this year from 3, but he has a career high from 3 of 38%. And you saw with your very own eyes what he did to the Boston Celtics when he hung 52 on them.
Yeah.
It's mid-range lethal. He's almost Durant-like from mid-range because he can shoot fall-aways from the free throw line that are unguardable, and he's got the best touch for 7'1" that I've ever seen.
You ever had to worry about somebody saying anything about Giannis' motor?
No, because nobody plays harder. But I think Joel's body language doesn't indicate how hard he plays because he looks like he kind of drifts between plays. Yeah. He looks like he doesn't care as much. Giannis just looks like he's engaged and hyper-focused every split second. I give you that. But in impact, in numbers...
Giannis.
No, I just think it's Joel Embiid.
I mean, he got the best record. He has the best record in the NBA.
All right, but just a little over the Sixers, not like
y'all in third. Y'all behind the Celtics. What you talking about?
Yeah, but we went to Milwaukee and beat him in his own house.
Hey, we went to Boston and beat you. I mean, went to Philly and beat you to brotherly love, but we weren't very brotherly or lovingly.
Yeah. And then you went to Boston and lost by 41 points not that long ago.
No, they beat us in our place by 41.
Well, it was I'm sorry.
We was out riding Harleys all day. What were you thinking about them?
Riding Harleys?
Yes. That's what we doing all day.
Really? Giannis is riding Harleys? Is
all
that
day.
not
What do you thinking about y'all? But we got something for you, see, in the playoffs.
I think that's against the dangerous activity clause in the contract.
But he might not have it in his contract because Jordan had a lot of things in his contract that a lot of guys didn't have in their contract.
Okay, all right. Well, I don't know. I'm still taking Joel Embiid. I'm taking him for the short term.
What did the players say? Did the players speak?
It's runaway.
Okay, then.
It's not even close. I don't know what they're not seeing in Joel Embiid.
That he better than Giannis. That's what they're not seeing.
See it. Okay, Giannis can't shoot. Joel can shoot. Joel can defend at just as high level.
He ain't got no defensive players here to say that.
Okay, well, he doesn't, but that's on reputation.
There ain't no reputation. He earned his reputation.
Yeah.
I mean, Skip, Giannis can score just as much. I mean, Joel averages 33. Giannis averaged 31. Joel averaged more rebounds and more assists and has a high defensive rating.
Okay. Is he really that much better of a shot blocker than Joel Embiid? No. Sorry. Do you really want to? I want to build my team around a guy who can't shoot a lick. Really? Does he have any mid-range jump shot? No. Build a wall. You can stop him. Huh? Well, okay, but we haven't had any tum-tum. We've had it in the past. We don't have it now.
Has anybody ever been able to, since that Toronto, has anybody been able to build a wall? Remember, he jumped over the wall in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Remember what he did to the Suns?
Yeah,
okay.
I do. Pepto-Bismol. That's what Joel has discovered. Pepto-Bismol. Yep. Good luck. Good luck to your team. Your team might fall into that 0-2 hole from.
I bet y'all play. You play in Brooklyn. You play in Brooklyn, really, Skip?
We're waiting on Boston. We're just preparing.
No, y'all ain't waiting. Yeah, you see how they making mincemeat about Little Hawks.
Your Little Hawk is right. Little Maestro.
There you go.
The most overrated.
No. We gonna talk about this. Don't do that, Skip. Don't do that. I don't know why somebody got it in for him. I don't know why they got it in for him all of a sudden. But he don't deserve this kind of slander.
He does.
And I'm going to defend him.
Okay. Good luck.
You hate him. He played in Oklahoma.
What you hate is to see injuries like this.
Objective.
Do what, Jen?
This one to Giannis and the one to Ja so early in the playoffs. You hate to see it dictated. All right, gentlemen. Let's dissect this impact of Draymond Green's suspension because, again, he's been good for an extra 10 points in net rating for the Warriors when he's been on the court this series. Eddie House is joining us next. He's going to weigh in, too. You don't want to miss this. Draymond Green will be suspended for the Warriors' pivotal Game 3 against the Kings. This punishment for stomping on Domantas Sabonis. The NBA said in a statement, quote, the suspension was based in part on Green's history of unsportsmanlike acts. We are excited. We got NBA champ Eddie House joining us now. Eddie, do you think Draymond deserves to be suspended?
I was thinking about this yesterday and figuring it probably would be something that will be discussed. Do I think he deserves it? His previous behavior tells me that if you look at what he's done, I mean, he's had incidents with LeBron, Steven Adams, Brandon Clark, punching his teammates, the situation with Sabonis. And then I believe the act after getting ejected, not showing any humility and getting ejected like, man, I just let my team down, but actually embracing that moment and yelling at the fans with the commissioner right there. I mean, I think they had no other choice but to suspend him. Now, do I think it's good for the league as far as entertainment-wise? No, but I do think it's good for the league to just get a stranglehold on these things. And you can't let stuff start getting out of control and snowball effect. And one thing about it, as good as Draymond is for this team, he's just had a habit of getting away with doing a lot of things like this. And so I think it came to a point where they had to draw the line because he has been habitually overstepping the boundaries of the lines of the league with the kicks and the punching teammates and all that. I just think they had to do something. It's unfortunate for the Warriors because, he's a big part of what they do.
When you really look at it, they could throw Draymond Green out of every night.
They could.
The way he yelled and
Yeah,
screamed
I
and
agree.
curses at the official,
Yeah.
they just like, you know what, it's Draymond. We just going to
That is
overlook
true.
it. Am I surprised he's suspended? Yes. Did he deserve to be suspended? Yes. And NBA VP Joe Dumars said these factors were why Green was suspended.
Yeah.
Excessive and over-the-top actions, conduct detrimental, and a repeat offender.
There you go.
Dumars also said, you know what the situation is, down 0-2 in a playoff series. But you set that aside and look at the facts. Repeat offender weighs heavy as anything.
Okay.
Bruh. Okay, they go to the replay, they're going to look at it, Eddie. Okay, let's see what happened. They got tangled up. Draymond, go sit down on the bench, and when they come to a resolution, either you stay in the game or you're gone. What Draymond doing? Running around like he Hulk Hogan. What y'all got for me?
Yeah.
He's standing up on something yelling female body parts at the crowd. That's not a good look. You did the exact same thing last year in when you Brandon Clark in Memphis. You would have thought, so you know what? Man, I let my team down. In 2016, we had a 3-1 lead. I let my emotions get the best of me. I let my team down. Who knows? I mean, it's conjecture now. We might have won us. I'm never going to put myself in that situation. Yet, here we are again. Because I know what my team needs. I do this stuff intentionally. Okay, now what? Now you got Steph and Clay, the big three, two of the big three. You got them out there by themselves because of your actions, because of your antics. All you had to do was sit your butt down, let the officials render their decision, and walk your butt up the court to the tunnel with security. But you were running around making a spectacle of it.
A spectacle.
And the commissioner's like, hold on, this ain't no good. This ain't what we want.
No.
We don't want a guy. He is standing on the table, Skip?
Conduct detrimental.
Man, come
Or, as the NFL puts it, conduct unbecoming of an NBA All-Star. And he is a four-time All-Star.
So he gets a technical foul once every 5 games, basically in his playoff career, and a flagrant foul once every 24 games.
Okay. I'm going to say this one last time. When I just look at the incident in and of itself, Sabonis started it and Draymond finished it. But Sabonis did detonate it because he grabbed Draymond's ankle and held on because he didn't want Draymond to get a head start and beat him up the floor. It's a dirty tactic. It's not a dangerous tactic. But obviously, the retaliation went into a full-on stomp, and you can't just full-on stomp.
He stomped the man.
All right, he stomped the man. Okay, but just in and of itself, because it is the playoffs and they are down 0-2, I might look the other way if it hadn't been Draymond Green. But he's got a lengthy track record. And the league, to your point, Mr. Sharpe, has given him incredible leeway on a nightly basis because he has been such a valuable player to a dynastic team. They just look the other way night after night. He's a 4-time All-Star. He's a former Defensive Player of the Year. He's a 2-time steals champ. And they say, okay, it's just Draymond being Draymond. And yet nobody else could have gotten away with Draymond. And finally, up to Joe Dumars upstairs, and probably the commissioner got heavily involved in this, said, okay, enough is enough. It's such a bad look. And both of you say, if he had just gone and sat down, I don't think he would have gotten suspended. But he never goes and sits down. And I think the commissioner is starting to wonder, Draymond, is this self-promotion of your podcast? Because he just acts a fool in Memphis and does a big victory lap around the arena. This is late in the second quarter of Game 1 last year. He goes straight to the locker room and straight to his hotel and does a live podcast. I hope he started at the end of the game, like he didn't start it during the game, but he probably started just when the game ended. But guess what, ladies and gentlemen? They managed to win the game because remember, Ja took a shot down the lane and Clay came off his man. He was guarding Brandon Clark and forced him into a shot that went up off the glass and missed the rim.
And that became a footnote.
It did.
Because they won the title.
They won the game and the title.
And what stood out, and guess what? What he did in 2016, Eddie, would have been a footnote had they won the title. Footnotes, you don't get the footnote when you lose. You get the headlines. Because you deserved it. I just don't get. I get it. I get being emotional. I understand. Eddie, you and I both played. Skip, you've been around it a long time. You know these games are very emotional. But sometimes you have to take the emotion out of it and be rational and be logical. How many times?
You do have to.
Go ahead.
My bad. Go ahead.
How many times is Draymond going to do this and we give him the benefit of the doubt? He's lost the benefit of the doubt.
That's the issue right there, is that he's just done it so many times. But to his I'll say to his defense in this particular situation, Sabonis did a non-basketball act. So now if we living by the letter of the law, right, all the time, he should have been ejected out of that game.
Okay.
Because that's very similar to going upside somebody's head, not making a play on the ball. Right. It's just down at the ankle. To me, that's not a basketball play. It's not a basketball move. He tried to tackle him, basically. He wrapped him up at the ankle. And Draymond has every right to try to get him off of him. Yeah. Now, was the stomp a little extra? Yeah, it probably was a little extra. He used him like a little trampoline. You see him stomped, and then he hopped up off of him. But to me, I think you have to, if you're going to be addressing things by the letter of the law and looking at it, Sabonis has to be looked at as well, because that clearly is not a basketball play. And that's the only thing that I could defend Draymond with, is that was not an actual basketball play. But because his reputation precedes him, this is the issues that he's going to have to deal with. And I mean, it seems like it's always biting him at the wrong time. Like, he builds up throughout the regular season. Nobody says anything to him, but then it goes overboard in the wrong time for his team. And if I'm a teammate, I'm probably sick of it. You know, I'm probably tired of the fact that, man, I mean, every single time that we have these situations coming on, you're involved. We need you for us to win. And for him to let his team down in that way, in that manner, I think he's probably not feeling proud about that at all.
Okay, so Eddie, sum this up for us. Going into Game 3 back at Golden State, if you're his teammate and you did play this game at the highest level, the championship level, how are you feeling about a Game 3 without him? Do you care? Are you relieved? Do you want to go forward and see how you do without him for a game?
You're going to have to. You have no choice. This is the only thing. You look around, they got Kevin Looney is the only guy that can rebound for him, and Draymond Green. Now they just got smaller, right? Now they just got smaller. They're going to be relying on guys that haven't been in a rotation, haven't been getting heavy minutes. But I expect Jordan Poole to probably get a bigger part of this game, and he'll have an opportunity to go out there and get some rhythm. And, they're going to have to try to outshoot the Kings, get some timely stops, and basically outshoot them.
Agreed.
Good stuff, guys. Eddie, we want you to stick around. We want to unpack this Suns-Clippers series a little bit more as well. So hang with us. Undisputed will be back in just a moment. The Phoenix Suns evening things up last night. This in their series with the Clippers. They took the Clips down 123-109. Hello, Devin Booker. He had 38 points, 18 of those coming in the third quarter. KD added another 25 points in the Suns' win. Eddie Howe still hanging with us. This series is now 1-1. Eddie, the Suns look so different Game 1 versus Game 2. What was your biggest takeaway from last night's win?
Well, the biggest takeaway was Suns were able to get whatever they wanted offensively. There was no resistance in the pick and roll, whether it was Devin Booker in the pick and roll or whether it was Chris Paul in the pick and roll. They were taking advantage of that drop coverage, and the drop coverage is when the big is playing probably 4 or 5 feet away from you. And as you're coming off the pick and roll, he's constantly dropping back, daring you to take that mid-range shot. And Chris Paul was taking it. He was making it. Devin Booker was taking it and making it. And then what Chris Paul started to do to really manipulate it, started coming down and engaging that big and then kicking it to DeAndre Ayton at the free throw line for free throw line jumpers, where he had, I want to say, 3 straight shots at one particular time. And they shot 58% from the field, 58% from the field, 41 from 3. And to me, that's really where the game was. There wasn't anything that I feel that the Clippers didn't do that they did in Game 1 and Game 2, except Chris Paul knocked down shots, was able to manipulate that pick and roll. I look at the Suns, if one thing I could poke a hole in is they're giving up too many offensive rebounds. They gave up 15 offensive rebounds in Game 1 and they gave up 12 in Game 2. Now, that's something that you have to clean that up, especially when you have 2 bigs out there that can rebound the ball. But for the most part, I thought the Suns played a great game, and Devin Booker just took over and was a superstar that he is. Didn't make a 3 in the first game. This game comes out and makes 4. So that was the difference in the game to me.
Yeah, I agree with you. Book was sensational. They made big shots. If you look at the Suns, were 16 of 22 on mid-range shots outside of 14 feet in Game 2, and in Game 1, they were 8 of 25 on those same shots. If you look at what they did, they put the ball in Book's hand primarily in the second and third quarter, and in the second quarter, the last 11 possessions, they made 10 shots, and they took right back off in the third quarter. So what I'm hoping, if I get Kawhi and Book or Kawhi and KD to push, I get Russ and KD, Russ and Book to push. Now I make it about Chris Paul, DeAndre Ayton, because that's where they got to win the game. Their starters, Eddie, is going to have to be plus 10 to plus 15 because they're going to normally lose the bench. Now, they did outscore. They got outscored again, 30-13. So they're going to lose the bench. They're going to lose the bench normally. So you've got to get Ayton and Chris Paul and Torrey Craig, who's having an outstanding series because a lot of time he's getting covered by Zubats because they're devoting so much attention to Book and KD. But they had to have this game last night. They can't go down 0-2 coming to the Clips. And I know it's not Boston, and it's not one of these great home court advantages, but you're down 0-2. And when you go down 0-2, you only win 8% of the series going back through history. So, they needed this game. And my biggest takeaway is that the guys that you counted on came through, but it was the role players. Go back and look at the Lakers, Skip. Who was it? It was It was Rui. It was Reeves. I know what I'm gonna get from KD. I know what I'm gonna get from Book. Can I count on DeAndre Ayton to give me 14 and 13?
He's not a role player.
No.
He's one of the big four.
No, he ain't no superstar. He ain't got no all-star. He ain't got no all-NBA. If you ain't got that on your resume, that's what you are.
Okay. Did I just hear you say that they need Russ and KD to push?
No, but I'm saying, but here's the thing. Russ is taking over the role for Paul George. Normally that would be Paul George in that situation. If you got two big guns, your two big guns got to cancel each other out. And now I'm going to make it about my role players.
Okay. All right. So, Eddie, the man across from me, my debate partner, has made fun of me for being in Phoenix on the Thursday morning before the Super Bowl when the bombshell had dropped overnight that KD was now a Phoenix Sun. And I told a Phoenix-based crowd, I think you guys just won the NBA championship. So he's made a little fun of me because it could be overstatement until we watched the game last night. And I believe that deep down, Shannon Sharpe and maybe even Eddie Howe sat back and thought, God, that kind of looks like a championship team to me because I do think it's a big four. And all four, right on time, had incredibly valuable contributions to the night that became a tour de force of why I'm picking the Suns to win it all. Because I remind you, if KD hadn't come out firing right away early and made 3 quick shots, they might have gotten just scorched right out of the building. They fell behind 13 with 5 minutes left in the second quarter, and it was KD and DeAndre Ayton who kept them barely afloat. Right. Then they go on a 23-10 run to end the second quarter, going into halftime, and Book finally makes his first 3, and it's one of those gotta shoot it where the clock is winding down, you just gotta heave it, and it went in. And he went off in the third quarter, and he scores 18 with 4 assists. It was another tour de force because you know and I know he's capable. And then to Eddie's point, Chris Paul closed the deal in the fourth quarter. He makes 4 jump shots that I didn't know if he had it in him. But he just said, I got this. I'm going to close this deal. And every time it looked like, here comes Kawhi, here comes Russ, Chris Paul was the one who said, no, not in my house. Right. And you look at the totality of last night, and I'm shocked that Phoenix is now a 3-point favorite going back to the Clippers because I thought the Clippers would be small favorites. But no, the odds makers are saying, wait a second, that looks like a championship team that we saw last night.
But to mention, Skip, if you look at the shots that Chris Paul made in the second game, every shot that he made in the second game was tougher than the ones that he missed in the first game.
I agree. They were tough shots, all of them.
Yes.
No, I was like, really?
Yes.
Really? Okay. Eddie, were you not impressed last night?
Well, I was impressed by this, that they won the rebounding battle. Remember, I said it yesterday. You can't have Chris Paul leading your team in rebounding. DeAndre Ayton answered that bell. He led everybody with 13 rebounds.
He did.
And then on top of that, I just looked at how they played, right? They shared the basketball. They had 30 assists. Most of the times in the NBA, you get 30-plus assists, you're going to be on the winning side of things because That means you sharing the basketball, you got the team in rotation, and you're getting up a lot of shots. You're passing up good shots to get great shots. And they did that yesterday. And by what you see, 58% from the field, they got whatever they wanted. When we ran that clip on Chris Paul, they were in that drop coverage. All Chris Paul does is make sure you get a little piece of my guy. Yeah. I'm coming downhill, got the bigs going on his back, and then I'm just finding my spot and pulling up. Yeah. I mean, it's right here. Look at my Mason Plumlee. Back up. I just get to my spot.
Okay.
Get him off balance. Easy money right there, right? The same thing. I get to my spot. And so what the Clippers are going to do, I'm going to see now at this point, he has it going. Zubac switches, and he takes him for a dance. So my thing is, what are you going to do? What are the Clippers' adjustment to that? Because it's clear that if they continue to run that, Chris Paul is going to manipulate that pick and roll. He's going to get every shot that he wants, and he's going to be initiating everything for that offense. Now you're going to be constantly putting them in rotation. So I want to know what the adjustment is going to be for T. Lue. And to me, that's the most important thing. How are they going to guard that pick and roll? Are they going to go to traditional hard show and get back? Or you can't blitz him, so you can't trap him because he's an excellent passer. Now you got 4-on-3 on the back end with two of your guns being KD and Devin Booker. That spells trouble. So it's a conundrum that they're facing right now.
Okay, but Eddie, Ty Lue threw everything but kitchen sink at them on defense because they tried I was astounded because every time down I would see a different coverage where they'd go triple cover KD, double cover KD, single cover KD. Let's try zone. Let's try drop. Let's try big men out high. Let's try it all. They tried it. Ty Lue can really, he's like Belichick coaching defense against Patrick Mahomes. But he couldn't stop Patrick Mahomes last night because they just got too much firepower. Those are firepower shots where Book is just pulling up. It's not a good shot that he's taking, and he's making it.
Hey, Eddie, let me ask you a question. What coverage can I run? What's the best coverage when you got KD and Book and they just elevate and shoot over the top of you? What coverage can I run to stop that?
There is no coverage. There is no coverage for that. Those two dudes are fantastic. And it's weird. Check this out. So how great Kevin Durant is of a three-point shooter. Devin Booker is a really good three-point shooter. You think the rest of the guys on the team are serviceable. I'm going to just put things in perspective. In 2 games, the Sun have shot 43 total threes, right? Last night, I watched a game where the Atlanta Hawks shot 48 threes. So this is in 1 game. So this is 2 games. This is showing me that what the Suns aren't relying on the three-point shot.
No.
They'll take it if they get an open shot, but they're trying to kill you in the mid-range. They're trying to get to the basket, and they're trying to work in that mid-range. So now, with those numbers, what is your game plan, right? What is your game plan?
Yeah.
And the reason why you were saying that T. Lue threw everything at him, but not with the high pick and roll. He stayed with the drop coverage. And great players, you got to mix it up. You can't give them a steady dive because they're going to diagnose it. And before you know it, they got a rhythm going and you can't turn that water off.
All right. So, Eddie, you're a big Russ fan. I'm not. Shannon, somewhere in the middle. He wanted him gone from the Lakers, but he does have respect for him. Okay, so last night, I'm watching this guy. I don't even know who he is. That's the best I've ever seen Russ play, start to finish, on both ends of the floor. He is playing his tail off on one area he never really cared about. That's called defense. I don't know what's gotten into him, but he maxed out last night. I thought Kawhi maxed out. I don't know that he could play much better on both ends of the floor. And you, in the end, got blown off the floor. So again, do you believe that Russ can play any better than he did last night?
No, I think that he could play consistently the same. I thought offensively he made some shots that, for the most part, he was 2 for 3 from 3. Those are like dare shots. People are daring him to shoot it, but he was 8 for 8 from the free throw. He went to the free throw line and knocked down the free throws.
Yeah.
So I think it's sustainable. And the one thing about it, guys, this is the real spill. If you're engaged defensively, right, a lot of times offense comes a lot easier because you're so laser sharp focused on stopping, paying attention to every single detail defensively. You're so in tune into the game that the offensive rhythm comes for you a lot easier because of your defensive prowess and your defensive aggressiveness and mindset. So I think that Russ could sustain this because of that. Because he's playing so hard defensively, because he does have to guard Devin Booker. He has to be engaged, otherwise you get 50 dropped on you. Same thing with KD. You better be focused because you could get 50 dropped on you. That'll make your offensive and for your whole team, it'll make that rhythm come a little bit easier rather than if they were trying to hide him somewhere and then he's trying to get his rhythm. You're so in tune to the game to where offense just comes a little bit easier. So I think that's sustainable for us because of that reason.
Think about this, Eddie. He goes from 3 of 19, that should have been 3 of 20, but Book fouled him on a shot there's no way he's going to make. He goes 9 of 16 last night, and yet, because I believe he's got the worst hands in the history of basketball for a point guard, there was a shot he made in the second quarter. He goes up and gets an and one, and he lost the ball in midair, and guess what? It accidentally went in the basket. And I'm saying, you're out of your mind. Yeah. Like the basketball gods love you tonight.
But he had a dunk.
He has a dunk.
And he slips out his hand.
Early in the fourth quarter, he's got a wide open. Because listen, he is swooping to the hoop like he's 22 years old, and he has. And he just can't.
It swoops out of his hand.
He just can't hang on to the ball, and he back irons it off the dunk. Ugh.
Russ is all right, man. Russ is all right. Russ is going to be all right. He ain't going to be the reason why that team loses if they lose.
So, Eddie, who's in control of this series now?
Well, I think that what you did, if you were the Clippers, you went and stole one. So you got one now. You got home court advantage right now. So I would say that the team that has home court advantage in this, and the job for the Suns is to go get them one, if not two. So, and I think the one you could crack them at is game 3. You could really crack them in game 3 if you try to carry over the momentum you had. And it all depends on how they're going to be guarding that high pick and roll. So I'm super curious and interested in to see what adjustments will be made there. What kind of chess matches are going to happen? Are they going to just run straight high pick and roll and so everybody see it coming? Or will the Suns get some movement to get into the high pick and roll to try to create some indecision by the bigs? Because, the big got to maybe guard a pin down. Then he got to run into a screen and roll, a high screen and roll. There could be some mistakes made there. So I want to see that chess match. I'm interested in that.
I just want to watch Phoenix win game 3.
I bet you do want to see that. I bet you do want to see that.
Yeah.
Eddie, I think the adjustments are going to be phenomenal. You got Ty Lue and Monty Williams, 2 of the greatest minds in the game. Game 3 tips off tomorrow night. All right, Eddie, thanks so much for joining us. We sure do appreciate it. Coming up next, let's talk a little Trae Young. Is he fallen further away from All-Star status? Skip and Shannon weigh in just a moment.
And I won't back down.
And an anonymous NBA player poll was released yesterday by The Athletic. Trae Young voted as the most overrated player in the league. Then last night, Celtics fans let him know about it. They were chanting overrated at him during the Celtics Game 2 win. All right, Shannon. You've been a fan of Trae's. Have you lost faith in him now, though?
Hell no. Anything Rudy Gobert, when it comes to overrated, ain't first on that list, I'm disqualifying it. So Trae Young averages 25 points and 9 assists for a career. Let that sink in. Trae Young averages 25 points and 9 assists. So not only does he score, he gets other people involved. And on that run to the Eastern Conference Finals, he was 28-9. And that's overrated. Wow. Julius Randle was on the list, Pascal Siakam, Jimmy Butler, Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert. How is Rudy Gobert doesn't get 90% of the votes?
Well, he has won Defensive Player of the Year, 3 times?
Did you see him play this year? Are you watching him?
Yeah.
You watching him?
Yep.
No. Look, Skip, when you rate it, is he Steph? Is he Dame? Is he Luka? Is he D. Fox? Is he Ja? No. But overrated at 25 and 9? No. You gonna take how many centers you gonna take before you get to Rudy Gobert? You taking Sabonis, you taking Jokic, you taking AD, you taking Triple J, you taking Joel Embiid, you taking Bam. Skip, you going probably 10 centers before you get to him.
And he's won 3 Player of the Year.
He overrated.
Okay. At least Rudy Gobert is 7 feet 2 inches tall.
And big for no reason. He as big as he is sorry, and he good and sorry.
And little Trae is about 5'11". And I did first guess this before he was even drafted, and I do get some credit because I do love the University of Oklahoma sports, both football and basketball. And I told you, as much as I liked watching him in college, when he led the nation in scoring and assists.
Yes. I told you it would translate, Skip.
It doesn't translate.
It does.
He's too little. He is a liability on defense, and he is a terrible three-point shooter.
He averaged 27 and 10 in college. How does 25 and 9 doesn't translate? I ain't say he's going to win. Skip, how many small guards have won a title?
Okay. You realize he has led the entire NBA in turnovers since he first stepped on the floor.
Yes.
Every year he leads in turnovers. He tries things you cannot try. He tries logo threes you just can't try unless you're Steph Curry, and he's not.
Right.
And I look at his playoff stats now. Little Trae Young is shooting 39.7% from the floor in all of his playoff games. 39, that's horrendous.
But Skip, look, I mean, when you play him, you worried about John Collins?
Okay.
You worried about Capella?
Okay.
Who you worried about?
He's 28.2% from three. That is horrendously bad. He averages 5 turnovers a playoff game. He is a minus 97 for all the playoff games he's played. You can't. It's a liability. You can't overcome it.
And he ain't no way he more overrated than Rudy Gobert.
I don't know.
I know
think he is. And Boston is just chewing him up and spitting him out,
man. Just
the way Miami did last year.
What they doing? What Denver doing to Gobert? His own teammates swinging on him.
They're just getting started.
We're getting started where? You know Rudy Gobert terrible.
He's not terrible.
You remember what your Clippers did to him? What the Clippers do to him?
Okay, well, this is about Trae Young.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Overrated. Skip, the man became unplayable. They couldn't even play him in the fourth quarter. Okay. 3-time defensive player of the year, and they couldn't play him in a game.
I'll take Rudy Gobert over Trae Young any day.
You gonna take him where?
I'm gonna take him up the playoffs.
He'll be a great translator if you go to France. He'll be great. He can tell you what that is and what it means and what you eating. But that's the only place I'm taking him.
He's a great super spreader, too.
I got to jump in, guys. We are out of time. Wonder how much the locker room drama might have played into that poll. All right. LeBron, gentlemen, how is he going to look in Game 2 against the Grizz tonight? Get your thoughts up next. LeBron James had 21 points in the Lakers' Game 1 win over the Grizzlies. His over-under total tonight, 26.5, according to Fox Bet Sportsbook. Shannon, what are you expecting from your guy, LeBron?
Well, I don't think he needs to go in the phone booth and pull that cape out. I don't think he'll need that. But we know he's more than capable of doing that. So with that being said, I definitely think he reaches the over of the 26. I think he's somewhere around 39-7.
So 30 points.
39. Yeah, 30 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists.
I say he goes phone booth tonight. Dylan Brooks cannot guard LeBron.
Yeah, we know that.
Okay, I say 35, 12, and 10 triple-double. I say that he owes his team for his recent pedestrian performances, and I think he will go phone booth.
But Skip, here's the thing. Why would I interfere with what Rui got going on? Why would I interfere with Austin Reeves? Let them go.
Are you saying Austin Reeves has taken over the team? That's what I think you are.
The man gets Skip. You know when somebody gets it going, no matter who the star is, they don't interfere in that. You let them carry it on.
I thought LeBron was him.
He is. He that dude. Now, if you wanted to put that cape on, he's more than capable of doing it. Okay. Virtual.
NBA playoffs, it's like Christmas holidays for NBA fans.